Hey, Catholic Match, I'm Tanner.
And I'm Alli.
And we're the Kalinas, and we are excited. This is going to be our last video, not ever, but in a video series that we've built out for you guys and helping you guys discern if the person that you're dating is indeed the one. A while back, we made a video where we talk about just that. You can find that video right here. And in this video, we talked about 4 kind of check marks that you can go through in your discernment with the person that you're dating to see if indeed they're the one. Alli, what are those criteria? One more time.
All right, I don't know if I'm going to get this in the right order, but the first is if you're compatible with the other person, if you've prayed about the relationship and you both feel peace about it, if you've invited your family and friends into that discernment and they also feel good about it, and then finally, what we're going to talk about today is if you have a desire to lay down your life for the other person.
If you have a desire to lay down your life for the other person. What in the world does that mean? This one might be our most abstract video, but we're going to hopefully try and break it down in practical ways for you guys at home. Alli, kick us off, babe.
Why? What does that mean?
Hit it.
All right. I think when we hear this phrase, like laying down your life for another person, we immediately think of Jesus laying down his life for the church. And how did he do that? He did that by dying on the cross. So it's pretty intense. And so, yes, I guess in some ways we mean like this desire to like give your life for the other person. And maybe that is in martyrdom. I don't know. But I think that it also is in like a lot simpler ways, which we're going to dive into a little bit.
Alli watched a video recently and made sure to relay this to me, but she said that this video said that guys will oftentimes say things like, yeah, I'm willing to lay down my life for this woman. I'm willing to like die for her. But are you willing to open this thing and refill it for her 3 times a day at the most inconvenient times? I think that's a bigger indicator of if you're actually willing to lay down your life for this person.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's easy to say these really big, like bold things that you'll do for someone, but it's really like in those little sacrifices that kind of like show your actual disposition of your heart towards another person. So like Tanner's saying, like refilling my water bottle, or like, am I willing to like, wake up early and make the coffee for the other person? Am I willing to do our taxes for the other person, or silly things like that, but actually like carry a lot of weight, because little sacrifices actually do make a difference.
And so how do I know if I'll make these tiny sacrifices in marriage one day when I'm just dating? Or are you making tiny sacrifices right now for the person that you're dating? Are you making tiny sacrifices right now to set your marriage up and allow it to be the most fruitful it can be one day? Are there bad habits in your life? Are there addictions that you need to work on and heal from? Is prayer life a priority, especially men? If you expect to lead your family one day spiritually and you're not praying right now, how can you expect to do that one day? If you're making tiny sacrifices right now while you're dating, then more than likely you'll make tiny sacrifices later when you're married.
Exactly. It's like when we think of the martyrs, it's not like one day they just woke up after not making any sacrifices for the Lord at all and decided to make the biggest sacrifice of their own life for him. Mm-hmm. So when we think of their lives, they most likely made tons of little sacrifices every single day.
I don't even think most likely.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
And that allowed their hearts to be free to make the biggest sacrifice of all, which was to lay down their life for the Lord. And so when we think about marriage and we think about dating, these little tiny sacrifices that we're making really do add up to something beautiful. And when we're discerning if the person is the one for us, if we're like if we have a heart to sacrifice for the other person and we are choosing to do that for them, then it probably means that we have this desire.
And on the converse, if while you're dating right now and there's certain things in your life that the other person would benefit from, or your future marriage would benefit from, but you're unwilling to make those sacrifices right now, or if there's little sacrifices in your marriage or in your dating relationship that you can do, but you just don't want to do it for the other person, then that tells you right there that this might not be the person that you're called to marry, if you're not willing to make those sacrifices right now.
Yeah, and also if you're not willing to make those sacrifices right now and you know that it's going to be a detriment to your future marriage, then you might not even be in a place to date anybody. It might not even just be that other person. It might be that you need to take a step back and actually work on these things, like whether that's like an addiction or, really bad habit, and like really tackle that. Because it, like, at the end of the day, you really shouldn't be doing that for another person. Like, you should do it because you want to be holy.
Yeah. This is kind of a tangent, but I think it needs to be said, and we'll be blunt. If pornography is a part of your life, then you don't need to be dating someone right now. Until that is under control, then a dating relationship should not be what you should be spending your time in.
Tanner and I are not trying to shame you. This is a real struggle that people experience. And yeah, we don't talk about it enough, but there's places that can help you with this, and people want to. So don't be afraid to like share that part of your heart, because it's something that the Lord wants to heal.
And if that is a part of your life right now, then you can sacrifice for your future spouse right now, even without dating them right now, by getting that wrapped up, healed, and out of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you're dating someone and maybe you don't really like see how maybe you have a desire to sacrifice for them, or like you're not recognizing that in your own heart right now, a good way to kind of start seeing if you have that desire is by fasting. So Tanner and I actually fasted like quite a bit during our dating relationship. And it's funny how much like taking a cold shower I actually really wanted to do for the sake of Tanner and our relationship.
Yeah, we did multiple fasts. We fasted from warm showers for the other person. We fasted from sweets at one point, which was really hard. We fasted from alcohol when we got engaged completely for the other person. We wanted to do that because we wanted to lay down our life for the other person. That like kind of really showed us like, dang, I'm willing to do some kind of crazy stuff for this person.
Right.
Like, just abstain from cookies and cream.
Yeah, like, am I willing to deny myself something for the other person? Like, that's marriage. Like, marriage is denying yourself constantly for the other person. And it's beautiful because it allows you to grow in holiness. But a really good way to start doing that now is fasting for the other person in your relationship.
And when you make these tiny sacrifices for the other person, you become more you. You become a better version of yourself. When I started dating Alli, I certainly changed. I was making all these tiny sacrifices. I started making my bed, for example, because I was like, well, shoot, if I'm serious about this, then like that's probably going to be an expectation in marriage. I should start practicing now.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times Tanner's friends from that phase of his life have been like, when Tanner started dating you, he changed so much, but for the better. And like, I'm sure I did too. So it's a beautiful thing to do for your significant other and really might help with your discernment.
And so are you willing to lay down your life for the person that you're dating? Or maybe a more accurate way of asking that question is, are you willing to make constant, tiny little sacrifices for that person?
And if you are,
then you might have just found
the one.
And so if you haven't checked out the other videos in this 4-part series, we invite you to check those out. And especially when you're dating someone, we invite you to constantly go back to these 4 things to help you in your discernment. Are you compatible with the other person? Are you praying about it and feeling peace? Are you bringing your family and friends into that relationship? And
are you willing to lay down your life for the other person?
Boom. Yeah, that's
all. That's all we have.
That's it.
All right, so that's all we have for now, but we're excited to talk about some more stuff.
More stuff coming your way, Catholic Match. I'm Tanner.
I'm Alli.
Have a good one.